Hello, I'm Mickey Milligan. I'm a certified consulting hypnotist and professional coach. Today I'm going to explain the fundamentals of hypnosis. Research has shown that if we take the time to explain a little bit about hypnosis to our clients, they benefit much greater from their hypnotic sessions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain some terms and remove some misconceptions that perhaps Hollywood has given you about hypnosis. What I'd like you to do is to make sure you have something to jot down any questions that you may have so we can cover them in our next session. There are four components of the mind: the conscious mind, the critical factor, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. Each one of those areas of the mind has certain characteristics and a protective function. Even when you're in the deepest level of hypnosis, you're always safe because the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious mind are always working to make sure that you are safe. I'm going to start with the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is really your body's consciousness. Medical people will call this the autonomic nervous system. When you are born, you come in with instincts. It is an inner knowing of how to operate your body. The unconscious mind is responsible for respiratory, heartbeat, all the things that you don't have to think about. Now, one of the things about the unconscious mind is its ability to change and learn is limited. It can change, it can learn, but in your daily kind of activities, it isn't very good at it. However, Dr. Ivan Pavlov discovered classical conditioning in the 1890s. He paired a stimuli with some other occurrence and found the unconscious mind could adapt. One of the studies he's famous for was when he used a bell as the stimuli with a dog. He gave the dog a morsel of food, the dog would start to salivate. After pairing it a number of times, just hearing the bell would cause the dog to salivate. And so that shows that the unconscious mind can learn, because salivation is not under the control of the conscious mind, it's under the control of the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind can learn through that kind of classical conditioning or through self-hypnosis, hypnosis, or hypnotherapy. For example, someone who's suffering from migraines, this is something that's happening at an unconscious level. Well, through hypnosis, we can re-educate that unconscious mind and have it rid itself of pain. Now, another interesting thing about the unconscious mind is that it is part of you that generates how emotions feel. For example, if you feel happy, there's a certain physical sensation that goes with happiness or joy. If you're feeling sad or angry, your body feels a certain way. And because the unconscious mind generates the physical attributes of emotions, we call those things feelings. And now, one of the things I'll talk about right away is that even at the deepest level of your mind, the unconscious level, you have a protective function. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're thinking, the unconscious mind is always protecting against infection and uses reflexes. For instance, if a ball were heading towards your face, before you had time to think about it, you would automatically cover up. So the unconscious mind has a protective function. The subconscious mind is really who you really are. It's all the habits, the behaviors, the beliefs, and it really is an exceptional part of you. The subconscious mind starts out empty when it's first developed. And then, as you go through life and have experiences, what happens is you start to build a database. You start with a blank slate. Then, as you have life experiences, they form into beliefs, habits, and once those have occurred, then they resist change. And you develop a certain consistent way of behaving to certain circumstances and people, and your personality is developed. Once that happens, it resists change. This is good news and bad news. The good news is you'll behave consistently and you have a particular personality. The bad news is when you want to change, it's very difficult to make changes unless you have a protracted experience over time, or unless hypnosis is used, because hypnosis can have immediate effect on the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is also the area that generates emotions. Based on your beliefs and experiences in the world, you respond to them in an emotional way. For example, if you believe a person should treat you in a particular way, and they treat you unfairly, the subconscious mind will begin to generate a feeling of anger. One of the interesting things about the subconscious mind is it seems to be unlimited in capacity. No one has ever filled it up. And unless there's a trauma to the brain or disease, you can always learn something new. And the information in the database is always accessible. Even people who are in their oldest years can tell you about their childhood. And in hypnosis, it's very easy to access that information. That's why it's sometimes used in court trials to uncover information about a crime. Remember, all levels of the mind have a protective function. The subconscious mind protects against known dangers and motivates you to fulfill your needs. That's what the emotions do. They motivate you. If something is known as a danger, it'll generate the emotion of fear, and that motivates you to take care of the situation and keep yourself safe. The conscious mind, there's this old saying, I think, therefore I am. Well, the truth is, who we really are is the subconscious mind. However, the part of us that thinks is our conscious mind. This part of the focus has a home place, and that's in the now. Right now, you're consciously focusing on this video. Now, we can talk about the past, and the conscious mind can then refocus in the past. We can talk about the future, like how you might use hypnosis to change your life in the future, and you'll start thinking about the future. But I want you to think about the conscious mind as primarily what you're focusing on right now. The conscious mind is an analytical and logical part of the mind. It's kind of our problem-solving mechanism. It's your ability to access a situation and use your experience to come up with an answer. For example, if you're working on a mathematical problem, you're using your conscious mind. One of the other things about the conscious mind is that it is limited. There's lots of scientific and psychological research that shows that the conscious mind can only hold about 7 to 9 bits of information at any time. This is why trying consciously to make important and substantial changes in your life usually fails, because the conscious mind can only hold 7 to 9 bits of information. With hypnosis, it allows you to go in and work with this greater database of who you are and have an effect on your habits and beliefs, especially those limiting beliefs that have held you back at times in your life. And as we can see, the conscious mind also has a protective function. It is constantly protecting you against perceived danger. And that's based upon what is rational and analytical. So that's basically how I, your hypnotist, thinks about the conscious mind, subconscious, and the unconscious mind. Now, between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, there's a thing called a critical factor. The critical factor is a comparing mechanism. As new information comes in through your senses, it has to be acknowledged by your conscious mind and then go through this critical factor before it becomes a belief, habit, and really enters into that database of information. The critical factor is the reason why it's so hard to change limiting beliefs and habits over time. When that new information comes in, it compares that new information with what's already in the subconscious mind. If it's a match, what's already in there, especially in the area of beliefs and habits, then it instantly goes in and then reinforces what already exists. Those beliefs, those habits become more firm and stronger in your life. But if some new information comes in and it doesn't match what's in there, it's just going into the database of information. It's stuff you know about, but really it doesn't have an effect on your life. Now, I'm going to define some terms that I may use as your hypnotist. First, the most important term is, what is hypnosis? Fortunately, the U.S. government has given us a definition that is very useful. According to the U.S. government, hypnosis is the bypass of the critical factor and the acceptance of acceptable selective thinking. An example of that would simply be that when information comes in, hypnosis allows us to bypass this comparing mechanism so that the information can go right into the subconscious mind and affect our limiting beliefs and our habits so we can make powerful changes right away. In short, it means through a new way of thinking, we can bypass the critical factor. In other words, focused attention. When you come to your hypnosis session, I will begin by doing a hypnotic induction to help you relax and focus your attention. Another word I may use is sleep. However, hypnosis is not sleep. I want you to think of sleep as a shorthand for going deeply relaxed, as if you were asleep with your eyes closed. If you go to sleep, you'll miss the whole thing. So stay awake, no matter how many times I say sleep. Just remember, that means eyes closed, deeply relaxed. One of the important things I really want to mention is I want you to understand that hypnosis is a normally occurring state in human beings. Hypnosis has been going on for so long. As long as there's been human beings, there's been hypnosis. Let me give you some examples of normally occurring states of hypnosis. Most people have had experience of driving from A to B and wondering, where did the time go? Maybe you're thinking about what you're going to do after work or on the weekend or a vacation you'd like to plan. Your focused attention was on something other than driving. Your unconscious mind is taking care of the driving for you. You're going into a state of hypnosis because the focused attention, and then all of a sudden wonder, did I pass my exit? Wonder where the time went. Where am I? These are common kinds of experiences when driving. These are naturally occurring states of hypnosis. Another interesting thing is in very deep levels of hypnosis, people can experience analgesia or anesthesia. The analgesia is the blockage of pain, and anesthesia is the complete blockage of all sensation. I know I've had this experience many times, and maybe you have too. You're getting ready for bed, you look down at your leg, your arm, and you notice a big bruise or a scrape or a cut or scratch. You're thinking, what? How did I get this? What did I do? Well, during the day, I was focused on something, and as I was focused on it, I went into a state of hypnosis. Natural occurring, normal hypnosis. And then what happened? I got injured, and I didn't even feel it. And so that goes to show that even hypnotic anesthesia and analgesia is normal, naturally occurring state. Here's one of my favorite examples. One of the deepest levels of hypnosis that a hypnotist may use is called negative hallucinations. Let me tell you a little bit about hallucinations. First, there's the regular hallucination, is when you see, hear, taste something that doesn't exist. Negative hallucinations is when you do not hear, see, taste something that does exist. And one of my favorite examples of this negative hallucination is not seeing something clearly right in front of me. Like my keys on the counter. I'm looking everywhere for my keys, saying I can't find my keys. My keys are missing. My keys are not here. I put them on the counter and they're gone. I don't have keys. I don't have keys. So as I recruit help in finding these keys, I explain I don't have my keys. They're missing. Well, lo and behold, they magically appear on the kitchen table. Not by me, however, because I'm actually hallucinated negatively. I've looked right at my keys on the table and do not see them. This is how that happened. Here I am. I'm relaxed. I'm focused. I look at the counter and I say, my keys are not there. And I continue to go through the house saying, I can't find my keys. My keys are missing. My keys are not here. By the time I actually lay my eyes on the keys on the table, my conscious mind has accepted the fact that I don't have keys. And then when I look at it, I hallucinate it's not there. Now, for some people, it's a bottle of ketchup. Another person, it could be a purse, their glasses, that kind of thing. So most of us can understand from those examples that we go into hypnosis 1,000 times in our life. Another thing I want to get to you real quick, because we're about to wrap this up, is hypnosis is safe. When you go into hypnosis, you're always going to be conscious. You're never going to be unconscious. Whenever I have you focus on something, it is a function of the conscious mind. Typically, I will have you focus on relaxation. That's a very nice thing to focus on. You'll go more and more relaxed as you do the hypnosis session. All of the levels of the mind are working, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and all the protective functions. No matter how deeply you go into hypnosis, you're always going to be able to protect yourself. If ever a suggestion was given to you that you don't like, you'll automatically reject it. And if it was something you really didn't like, you might even emerge from hypnosis. Hypnosis is safe and it's been accepted by the American Medical Association since 1958. It's been used by medical and other professionals for a great variety of things, from anesthesia to behavioral change, taking care of psychosomatic illness, and a number of other things. Hypnosis is a consensual state. It's something that you do with your hypnotist. As a matter of fact, I am really acting as your coach or your guide. I use hypnotic inductions, and you just follow the instructions. You're going to be focused, relaxed, and go into a wonderful state of hypnosis. By the way, leave it up to me, your hypnotist, to determine if you're hypnotized or not. Anyone of normal intelligence can be hypnotized. It used to be thought that only 20% of the population could be hypnotized. Well, what we've learned is if we take the time to explain hypnosis to you, then anyone of normal intelligence who's willing to follow instructions can experience a wonderful level of hypnosis and experience all the changes that he or she came in to make. Now let's wrap this up. I hope you wrote down some questions about hypnosis you may have so that we can talk about it in your next session. I want you to be comfortable with the idea of going into hypnosis. Okay, once again, this is Mickey Milligan. Thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit about hypnosis with me today.